Good morning, everyone. This is your English class, and today we are going to study the rest of part of our first chapter of grammar book, the sentence. This chapter we are studying. So today we need to open the page number 6. So in our previous class of this chapter, we studied about what are the sentences and what are the phrases. I told you when a group of words gives complete meaning, that is called a sentence. When a group of words gives incomplete meaning, that is called a phrase, right? Suppose I say that I was in the park, it is a sentence. If I say in the park, it is a phrase, right? After that, we studied about subject and predicate, about whom and what we talk in the sentence, that is subject, and what we talk about the subject is called predicate. Like I was playing cricket, so I is subject and rest of part is predicate. Then we understood about types of sentences. We understood there four types of sentences are there. Assertive, that's also called declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. So in the last class, we studied about the assertive sentences and declarative sentences. Assertive and declarative means like whenever we put any statement or we announce something, those sentences are called assertive or declarative sentences, right? Suppose I say that I am teaching you, or I say that I am not teaching you. So I am announcing something. So these types of sentences are called assertive and declarative. Next was interrogative. So in interrogative sentence, we put question, right? Suppose I say, "Do you play cricket?" So I have put a question in this, and suppose I say, "Where do you play cricket?" In this also, I have made a question statement. So these are called the interrogative sentence. So now we have come on the page number 6. So here we have to understand, dear student, about the imperative sentences. Let's read and understand. Imperative sentences commands. An imperative sentence expresses a command or order, an instruction, a request, or an advice. The subject "you" is often implied. For example, keep off the grass command. Put this notice on the notice board instruction. Pass me the sugar, please request. Don't waste time watching silly cartoon movies advice. So dear student, whenever we say something to do to someone, those type of sentences are called imperative sentences. Suppose I say you, please come here, go there, please stand up, sit down, switch on the fan, close the door. This all the sentences are called imperative sentences, right? So three or four types of senses we use in this, like sometime command sense is there, request sense is there, advice sense is there, instruction sense is also there. If I say stand up, so that's a command. And if I say please switch on the fan, that's request. If I say always say the truth, that's advice. Okay. So these types of sentences are called imperative sentences. Let's talk about the exclamatory sentences. An exclamatory sentence expresses some strong feeling. For example, how beautiful the butterfly is. What innocence it is. So dear student, whenever we put our emotions, those type of sentences are called imperative sentences. So like suppose that you see a car and that is very beautiful. And if you say this car is very beautiful, so that's you are stating something. You have given a statement. That is not exclamatory sentence. But when you put your emotion in this and you say, okay, what a beautiful car it is, or you say that how beautiful car it is, so that is exclamatory sentences. So ultimately, we can say whenever we like or dislike something, and with a strong emotion, we say something about that. Those type of sentences are called exclamatory sentences, right? Note that in order to make an exclamatory sentence forceful, we use a slightly different word order. In sentence one, the normal word order should have been the butterfly is how beautiful. And in sentence two, the normal word order should have been it is what a nuisance. So basically, whenever we make exclamatory sentence, we need to change the word order, right? And in the end of a sentence, basically we have to add the exclamation mark. That's written here. We put a mark of exclamation at the end of an exclamatory sentence, right? This is an important point. You should remember this. At the end of an exclamatory sentence, always we have to mention the exclamation mark, right? Now let's come on the exercise number 5. Rearrange the words in flowing groups to make meaningful sentences. The kind of sentence to be made is indicated in the bracket. So dear student, you have to make sentences. These like words are written there. So you need to use these words and you have to make sentences, right? Let's do this. First is that you told the story by what the is moral of. So this is a sentence, means like words are written here. We need to make an interrogative sentence with these words. So we can say that what is the moral of the story told by you, right? Next, magnanimous, her how are all ignore of to weakness. So we need to make exclamatory sentence here. So we can say that how magnanimous of her to ignore all our weaknesses. Next, to the agent did plan tour the itinerary satisfaction viewer into the interrogative sentence you have to make. So you can mention here, did the tour agent plan the itinerary to your satisfaction? Itinerary means like plan. Next, victory won, behave, defeat, and should gracefully in both. Assertive sentence you have to make. So you can say that one should behave gracefully in both victory and defeat. Sentence number 5, is it achieve success to difficult operations friends are all without of assertive. So we can say this, it is difficult to achieve success without cooperation of all our friends. That's cooperation. Sentence number 6, what performance gave that occasion an impressive she own? Exclamatory sentence you have to form. So you can say that what an impressive performance she gave on that occasion. Right. Sentence number 7 and 8 you should try to do by yourself, and soon I'll send the answer key. Then you can match the answer. And dear student, this exercise you should try to do on your book. Okay. So space is there. In this space you can mention the answers. Let's do the exercise number 6. Rewrite the flowing passage using capital letters and putting in a full stop. A mark of interrogation or a mark of exclamation, put no comma where necessary. So these all the things you have to do in this passage. Means capital letters you have to fill full stop, interrogation mark and exclamation marks you have to mention here. Let's read this. One day when Suhina was coming home from school, she saw a magical magician, there was a big crowd around him. He filled a glass with ink and covered it with a piece of red cloth. Then he chanted some magic words and pulled away the cloth. What a surprise! The ink had turned it into rose petals. Suhina immediately thought of her sick grandfather. Wouldn't this trick make him smile? Wouldn't it reduce his pain? Suhina learned the magic words from the magician and rushed home. She went to her grandfather and repeated the trick. How hurt she felt to see that only ink came out of grass. Grandfather's clothes were spoiled too. Grandfather, however, burst into laughter and hugged Suhina. So in this passage, dear student, you need to mention capital letters, full stop, and interrogation marks. So some part I will do for you, and some part you have to do. So first of all, this one word, you need to make it first letter capital. Why? Because we know that whenever we start any new sentence, so first letter of that sentence is capital. So one day when Suhina, so S we need to make capital. Why? Because proper noun we have to write with capital letter, right? So these are the proper noun. Suhina, it's a name is proper noun, was coming home from school. She saw a magician. There was a big crowd around him, right? So we need to mention here full stop after him, around him. Here you need to mention full stop. Then H you need to make capital of he. He filled a glass, so a glass with ink and covered it with a piece of red cloth, right? After cloth also you need to mention the full stop. Then THEN. T you need to make capital. He chanted some magical words and pulled away the cloth. After cloth, again you have to mention the full stop because our sentence has ended here. Then what a surprise. After surprise, you need to mention exclamation mark because that's the exclamatory sentence. And W of what word? You need to make capital. W you have to write in capital letter. What a surprise. The ink had, right? So again, T you have to make capital because the new sentence has been started. The ink had turned it into rose petals. Again, full stop after petals. Suhina immediately. S again we need to make capital because that is a proper noun. Suhina immediately thought of her sick grandfather. After grandfather, we need to make a full stop. Then wouldn't this trick make him smile? She's asking the question to herself. So we need to mention the interrogation mark here after smile word. Wouldn't it reduce his pain? W again we need to mention capital because she's asking question to herself. And after pain, she we need to mention interrogation mark. So dear student, in this way you should try to do this exercise. Half part I have told you and half part you should try to do. Okay, and soon I'll send the answer key, then you can match the answers. Now let's talk about the question text. The teacher was talking to class about Anshu, who had made a beautiful painting. The teacher said, "She has made a beautiful painting, hasn't she?" The almost everybody said, "Yes, ma'am, she has." When the teacher announced a prize for Anshu, Sneha said, "We are proud of her, aren't we?" "You haven't learned painting in any school, have you?" the teacher asked Anshu. And Anshu said, "No, no, ma'am, I haven't." Now look at these three sentences. She has made a beautiful painting, hasn't she? We are proud of her, aren't we? You haven't learned painting in any school, have you? So these bow letters words are, we can say that, question tags. Each of these sentences have two parts: a statement, she has made a beautiful painting, and a short question, hasn't she? This short question has been tagged on to the statement, so it is called a question tag. So dear student, whenever we say any statement, after the statement, we put some words for asking the question. Those words are called question tag. Suppose I say that you are my students. After that, I say, aren't you? You are my students, aren't you? So, aren't you? This part is called question tag. So, now we need to understand how to form the question tags. Second, what's written here? Let's read this. Why do we use question tags? In response to question tag, hasn't she? The children say, yes, ma'am, she has. It means that the children confirm what the teacher says. So, dear students, we have to understand here, for getting the confirmation, we add the question tag. Suppose like you say to your friends, you are my friend, you are my friend, aren't you? Means firstly, you are giving the statement, you are telling him, you are my friend. Then, just to confirm your statement, you add the question tag, aren't you? So that part, when that is question tag, just for confirm our statement, we add the question tag. Next point, similarly, when the teacher says you haven't learnt painting in any school, have you? Anshu confirms that she hasn't. And teacher says that you haven't learned painting in any school. And teacher puts question tag after that, have you? Just giving the confirmation. Then she says that. Next, a question tag is a short question placed at the end of a statement, usually in informal English. A question tag is used to get a statement confirmed. So question tag, which is added at the end of the statement, and we put the question tag just to confirm our statement, right? Next, how to form question tags. So some rules are here. Let's understand how to form the question tags. First point, she has made a beautiful painting, hasn't she? The question tag consists of only two words, hasn't she? It has the same subject as the statement she. We can use a pronoun of the same person as the subject. Second point, if the main sentence has an auxiliary verb, the auxiliary verb is repeated in the question tag. She has made a beautiful painting, hasn't she? If the main sentence does not have an auxiliary verb, we use do, does, did in the question tag. She won the prize, didn't she? No auxiliary verb in the main sentence. So dear student, we have to understand, in the question tag, we only mention two words. One is auxiliary verb and second is pronoun of subject. So see this example. She has made a beautiful painting. After that, we need to mention comma, then hasn't she. Hasn't means has we have taken. Auxiliary verb has been written here. That's why this auxiliary verb we have used here. If has is written there, we need to mention not with that. And we need to speak in short form, hasn't. And what subject is there according to subject? We need to mention here pronoun. Subject is already in pronoun form. So we have mentioned the same, hasn't she? Right? So we have understood this like point. Two words we have to return. If sentence is positive, we need to make negative question tag. If sentence is negative, we need to make positive question tag. And pronoun we have to mention second word according to subject. If there is a pronoun in the subject, so same pronoun we have to use in the question tag, right? And second point we have understood here, if the main sentence does not have any auxiliary verb, like you can see here, we have used the auxiliary verb same in the question tag. Suppose in any sentence, like we know that in simple present tense or in simple past tense, whenever we form any assertive statement which is positive, so we don't use any auxiliary verb, or we can say helping verb. In that case, we need to use helping verb from our side, and I will let you know which helping verb we should use. So if there is no helping verb in the statement, so we can use either do, does, or did according to the main verb. But we can use either do, does, or did, right? Like if second form is there, we should use did. See that we have written did here. If the first form is there, that a singular form is s or es form is there, so we should mention does. And if root form is there, then we should mention do. Root form, we need to mention do. If singular form means like s or es form, like plays and goes, these verbs are there, so we should mention does. If second form is there, we should mention did. Remember this point. The tense remains the same. There is no need to change any tense. Next point, if the statement is positive, the question tag is negative. If the statement is negative, the question tag is positive. This point already I have told you. If statement is positive, so we need to make the negative question tag. If statement is negative, so we need to make the positive question tag. You can see that we are proud of her, aren't we? Sentence is positive, but question tag is in negative form. And see the next example. You haven't learned painting in any school, have you? Statement is in negative form, and same we have made statement in positive form, right? In negative question tags, we usually use short forms of the negatives haven't, aren't. So in the negative question tag, we need to use short form of that. Auxiliary verb plus not means haven't, aren't. Let us take some more examples. Madhu is proud, isn't she? So dear student, this point we have to remember. Whenever names are there in the subject, so name you are not allowed to write in the question tag. You need to use the suitable pronoun instead of name. So Madhu is proud. So Madhu is a girl. That's a third person singular, feminine gender. So for third person singular, feminine gender, we need to use a she. Madhu is proud, isn't she? If there is any like name related to feminine, sorry, masculine gender, means like any boy name is there. So then you can mention he. Like Rahul is proud, isn't he? Right? Next, you will give me your notes, won't you? Won't is short form of will plus not. So will plus not, we should write wn apostrophe t. Won't you? Right? Next, he learned painting in France, didn't he? So second form is there. So according to second form, we need to mention did. There is no auxiliary verb in this sentence. So auxiliary verb according to main verb we need to write here. So main verb is in second form. So we need to mention the second form of do. So did we need to mention it. Mukul drives smoothly, doesn't he? I told you whenever there is a third person singular form, means like S or ES form. So in that case, we need to mention does, right? Like you can say that Mukul, that's a boy name. So according to boy name, we need to mention here he. And according to girl name, we have mentioned here she, right? Next B part, they can't come so early, can they? Can't is written there. That's the short form of cannot. That's why we have used here can. It is not fair to leave him behind, is it? So it is our subject. That's already that's a pronoun. So we need to mention the same. She does not tell lies, does she? I don't owe you any money, do I? Right? Important. We must not write such a sentence as Madhu is proud, isn't it? We need to write, isn't she? You will help me, isn't it? Won't you? So according to auxiliary verb, we need to mention, and according to subject, we need to mention the question tag. Second, how to form question tags too. I am. The question tag for I am is aren't I? This is very important point, dear student. The question tag for I am is aren't I, right? You are not supposed to write aren't I, sorry. So you should not write am plus not. You need to write aren't. Am I right? Aren't I? In this way, you have to say and write. Come on the next page. Imperative sentences. After positive commands, both will you and won't you can be used. So whenever, dear student, you make any imperative sentence and you are gonna make question tag for that imperative sentence. So for that imperative sentence, question tag you can make either in positive way or in negative way. Means positive question tag also you can make and negative question tag you can also make. Like please come in, won't you? And we can also say please come in, will you? And won't you? Both are right. Post this letter on your way to the post office. Will you? Or you can also say, won't you? So for the imperative sentences, which is positive, you can make either positive question tag or negative question tag. Second B point of second point. After negative commands, we use will you. Dear student, this point you have to remember when your imperative sentence is already in negative form, then you will make only positive question tag. Like, don't forget to wake me up. Will you? You can't say here, won't you? But if sentence is positive, so positive and negative question tag you can make, but sentence is in negative form, then you can make only positive question tag. Let's after let's we use shall we. So whenever we like put the proposal in front of someone, so we use let's, like let's study, let's play cricket, let's go there. So we are putting proposal in front of someone. So whenever we use let us for this sense, so for the question tag we should use shall we. Like let us sit in the sun, shall we? Let us wait for the rain to stop, shall we? Right? Revision question tags. Positive statement, negative question tag. Negative statement, positive question tag. No change of tense, auxiliary in statement, auxiliary repeated in the tag. No auxiliary do, does, or did we have to use. I am, the question tag is aren't I. Positive commands, the question tag is will you or won't you. Negative commands, the question tag is will you. Let us, shall we. Remember these points. And on the behalf of this understanding, you have to do this exercise. Exercise number 7, add appropriate question tag to the following sentences. So let's do that. She had not taken the necessary precautions. So sentence is negative. So after we need to remove this full stop and we need to mention here comma. Then we need to write had she, because sentence is already in negative form. So when sentence is in negative form, we should mention the positive question tag. Next, selfish people do not make good friends. So we need to mention do they. So remember this, in question tag, we should not mention the noun. We have to mention the pronouns for the subject. So that's why we'll mention they. Do they? Take good care of your old parents. So we can say won't you, or we can say will you. Let us recycle the waste material. So we can say that let us recycle the waste material, comma, shall we, right? So dear student, according to this understanding, please do this exercise. Some I have told you, 4 sentences I have told you. Rest of sentences you have to do by yourself, okay? So now if you want to ask any question, then you can ask. Otherwise, I am going to end the class.